Life is life, and we stay in the suffering. Stop staying in the suffering. Your life will be so much more when you look around you and you hang out with the friends that mean so much to you, that they also have value. Pick up a phone, call. This is what the world has done. They have destroyed real, true connection with human beings. And this is why we're so closed up. We can't even look people in the eye and talk. We can't do anything. So yeah, your brain or your mind is programming your brain to literally shut down and have no human communication or affection or real love, genuine speech. There is nothing there. So what do you expect your mind and your brain to do? Is it's going to fall in a deeper depression, because that's what we practice. It's like, why do we stay stuck in a sadness? And it's like, I made that in the other video where I talked about staying stuck. It's like, you stay stuck. I stayed stuck for a while. It didn't mean I was totally destroyed. Like, it just, you have a moment in time where you're allowed to be down and depressed. There is always that moment of time that you need, your body's telling you something that you must grieve, or it's okay to be sad. But I feel what happens with people that stay depressed long term is because they practice it. And please, like I said, don't get mad at me with some of the things I say. Just try to understand what I'm saying. I feel like if you know what is really going on in this world, you can handle it better. People go through a lot of hard times. Could be sickness, could be loss, losing a loved one, money, work stress. A lot of these stresses can lead to a sadness, like a deep sadness, and it feels like you can never get out of it. But there is ways you can get out of things by knowing when or how things happened, or how to deal with them, or when the right time is to move on. Like, it's a very complicated situation. I'm not saying it's easy, that's for sure, because we've all been there. This is why I say, be careful with your words. You never know what someone's going through. That's why our communication is really bad as human beings, because we don't listen. We don't truly listen to people. And I feel like over the years, I've definitely changed my behavior in the sense that I listen to people. I know what they're going through, and it makes me a lot more closer with people. Like, they know they can trust me because I know that they know that I am listening to them. And it's just like, you can feel their pain. And this is kind of why I wanted to make this episode, because it's tough for people to understand when they're in depression. And this is why, they bring all these medications about. It's like, I know a lot of people that want a quick fix, almost for anything. Losing weight, depression, whatever it can be. There's, the world offers you a pill. And yes, there are pills that work. I'm not saying that you can't get a pill for depression or whatever it is. But what I'm trying to say is that if you can understand what's going on in your life, you can regulate depression a lot better. Because you ever notice, like, people will, win a lottery ticket or do great or get a new car or have something, and they're like, they go up. Their level of happiness goes up, but it almost drops immediately. But with depression, it's like we stay in that depression for longer. Like, we can never just be depressed and then leave it alone. And I feel, I always say there's two voices in your head. There's the one that speaks life into your head, which is, of course, God. And there's the evil voice, which is the enemy, our enemy, that unseen enemy that I talk about, that tells you that you're not worth anything, or this is going to be this way forever. And what happens is we're quick to listen to the voice that talks negative to us, like based upon a breakup, a relationship, a broken relationship, losing a job, losing a loved one. It's, yes, physically, there is a problem in front of you that is true. You're allowed to be sad for a moment in time, but why would you torture yourself and keep convincing yourself that you are supposed to stay this way forever. I mean, this is going to be a really hard topic because I'm hoping like people really listen to me, because I just want to say to people that you are so valuable. Like, life is so valuable. I lost so many friends because I didn't even know that they were going through such a deep depression that they took their own lives. I just want to say to you, like, you are so valuable that you don't understand how valuable you are. You just have decided to agree with the evil voice in your head that says you are not valuable in any way how it says it. It's like, you're not good enough. People don't really like you. Just stay inside, stay away from people. You're always going to get hurt. Like, these are not life-speaking terms. So what happens is your mind is, and then that's your mind. So your mind is different from your brain. Your brain is the actual physical organ that's in your body, but it holds all the information that makes your body run without you having to do anything. That's a miracle right there. This is why I say, when people say, "Oh, God doesn't exist," it's insane how complicated our body is. And what I'm doing right now, my body is controlling everything, temperature, blood flow, all this stuff, and I'm still being able to talk to you about a topic. That's another thing. But what I mean, I'm just trying to say to you that we are so much more valuable than we think, and we allow these things to get in our mind. Our brain is just the organ that, like I said, controls the body, regulates, and does all these crazy, ridiculous functions, plus stores energy, plus stores our character. And then this is where our mind comes in. Our mind is where we put a lot of our information. And this is why I kind of tell people all the time, like, be careful what you watch. Be careful what you tell your kids. Be careful what you are putting in the eyes of children and even grown adults like us. Like, what we are watching today will greatly affect our mind. And then what happens is the mind affects the brain. So think about it this way. A car has a motor. This is why I will always bring it up. We imitate God's behavior in every sense. Everything that we do, I'll bring it up in any conversation. I'll be able to prove it, that God has created us, and he has given us the opportunity to also create. We create a car, we put an engine in it, and then we also put a computer in it. So basically, the engine is the brain, right? I mean, you can say the computer too, but what I mean is, just listen to what I'm saying, is like the engine is the brain. It's the actual thing that keeps everything going. The oil, the gas, all the wires are hooked up to that and functioning. And then what happens is we have to put a computer in that car. The computer is the mind. The computer is specifically programmed by a human being that knows everything about the car and makes sure the car is running right. The computer goes in the car, and that is the mind. And whatever you feed that computer, the car will run on that perfectly. Or if there's something wrong, the computer gives the motor a bad signal or something is wrong, the car will eventually start to run abnormally. We are the same way as human beings. The more you put into your mind, whether it's the violence, the war that we're witnessing over the past decades, generations, it's just never ending how humanity treats itself. You can see yourself getting depressed. I'm not saying it's not there and to just turn a blind eye like, "Oh, I don't care about it." I'm not saying that it's not physically there, but you as a person can just stay focused in this lifetime, because this is a small lifetime that we have, that God has allowed us to have, to see if we could be trusted and if we stand out in the crowd. Are you doing all the necessary things towards humanity and even yourself? We get depressed so quickly because of what we see, what we take in, and what we decide to stay in our mind. It's a hard thing to try to get over a loved one. I'm not saying this is going to be easy. All I'm trying to say is that there's a much bigger plan here that God has for us. And this is not a, corny thing to try to like make you feel like God's going to magically change you. Like, this is another thing I can't stand that certain people do. Like, oh, well, if you go to church and you go there every Sunday and you give your money and you do all this stuff, God's there. God's going to cure you of everything. It's not true. I'm not saying God can't do it. I'm not saying that at all for the people that are going to, come at me with that. What I'm saying is we have the free will. God wants to see us change. Can God step in? Sure. God can step in all the time and miraculously change a thing here, change a thing there. That doesn't mean he doesn't love us all across the board equally. Everyone's life is different and everyone's going to have something happen to them. I have things happen to me now. I had things happen to me a couple years ago. Next year is going to have something. I don't know what's going to happen. But what I'm trying to say is that there's times of hurt and there's times of joy. Like, if you can see that this is what life is about. Like, I hear Jordan Peterson say it. I heard Jim Carrey say it. There's a handful of people that always say, life is suffering. They say it so like that's what we have to do is suffer because we've seen Jesus suffer on the cross. Yeah, but Jesus also hung out with people, had fun, showed up at weddings, turned water into wine. Like, you don't understand that Jesus was being human. He came amongst us and was human. And I'm not trying to make this about that right now, but what I am trying to say is that life is life and we stay in the suffering. Stop staying in the suffering. Your life will be so much more when you look around you and you hang out with the friends that mean so much to you, that they also have value. Pick up a phone, call. This is what the world has done. They have destroyed real, true connection with human beings. And this is why we're so closed up. We can't even look people in the eye and talk. We can't do anything. So yeah, your brain or your mind is programming your brain to literally shut down and have no human communication or affection or real love, genuine speech. There is nothing there. So what do you expect your mind and your brain to do is it's going to fall in a deeper depression because that's what we practice. I suggest stop practicing so much. I know it's hard, but stop practicing so much stuff that you look at that puts you in a bad mood. I mean, look at things that make you laugh. Laugh is such a great cure for almost anything. Laughter. I said laughing. Laughter is a great cure for so many things. Hanging with good friends that mean well for you, not people that like talk behind other people's backs. Like, we don't need these kind of things. This is what makes you depressed. Looking at social media and seeing other people, and I hate to say it, live fake lives just because you post the great parts of your life. Because someone said it to me the other day, like, oh my gosh, you look so happy in your pictures. Like, almost like I never look happy in my pictures. I'm always happy. But, when there's a picture taken, you got to smile. I'm just trying to say, like, that doesn't mean I'm not going through something. But when you see pictures on Facebook and Instagram or whatever, or TikTok, you start to think someone else is living a better grade life than you, which is not always true. They probably have problems too. I'm just trying to say to you, like, if you can just look at your life, and I know you might be going through a lot of things, figure out for yourself, what can I do to just give me some kind of, I guess, motivation? Because I always say it's like motivation with the right information. This is why I try to say to you more plainly. I don't just come up here and go, well, if we, turn to verse whatever in the Bible and then God said. We can't say all that. We cannot do that because we are still human beings living a real life, and God understands that. And God actually wants us to stick up for each other and care for each other and talk to each other. This is why I am the way I am. I'm always invested in seeing someone get out of a rut or better. Like, I remember growing up and maybe I was a little depressed when I was a kid, and I don't realize it because I don't know what depression is, but I was sad. So I was sad. So, excuse me. It's really still cold in Philadelphia, and it's getting on our nerves. And so that's why you hear me clear my throat. My sinuses are killing me. But anyway, so when I was younger, I was sad because, and it's nothing against my parents, but our life growing up was it was for an only child at the time, because my sister wasn't there yet. We're 10 years apart. I didn't have, I feel, the greatest family life. And there was a lot of things that I don't want to talk about yet. But I was a sad kid. I was afraid. I was afraid to go to school because I was small and people used to pick on me. As I said before, I used to draw pictures to get out of fights or whatever. But I was a little kid. I was a small kid, and I was afraid. But when I went to school, there was something about me that changed, and I would always try to make everybody laugh. Until this day, I'm the same way. I know, like here, I'm very tame. Maybe that's why people ain't watching my videos, because they think I'm boring. But if you know me, I'm nuts. So when I was sad, when I was young, I would go to school and I would make all the other kids laugh, acting out stuff, because I wanted other people to have joy just in case they weren't. And so I'm the same way today. I can feel, that's why I can feel for people that are like depressed. I don't stay depressed. So that's the thing. When I say things, when I say words, I'm careful with what I say. Like I can be depressed. I don't stay depressed. And that's what I'm trying to convince you, that you can also not stay depressed. We don't have to always think gloom and doom. We don't always have to think it's the end of the world, because I have lost so many friends from them taking their own lives. And I wish I could have known where I could have sat down and talked to them and maybe brought more purpose to them, because that's the one thing I'm telling you right now, is that you are valuable. You know, God says in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. That means you yourself too. Think about it. Like, we have been given a life. You know, there's going to be some type of tragedy. This is why I said, don't be so concerned with this life like, oh my gosh, I got to do as much as I possibly can in this lifetime. It's not feasible. I always tell people, you don't have to be a songwriter, singer, musician, comedian. You don't have to be these people. You don't have to get famous. A lot of people, I think, get depressed because they feel like we have no purpose. Someone hit me up on YouTube and said, I feel like I don't know, I think it was like something that they said, like, I don't know God's purpose for me yet. The purpose is for you to be the greatest human being ever and treat your neighbor like you treat yourself. That is the end goal for God, not for us to become something. Now, you can become something if you want it, if you have that in your heart and you want to do artwork, or, you want to build cars or motorcycles, whatever you want to do in life, you can do. But what I'm saying is, don't get down on yourself when you think you have no purpose, because the ultimate true purpose to everyone, which you can see right now, it's very visually, like, there is the evidence that the world sucks right now. No one can get along. Everybody hates each other. There's constant evil, constant war, constant fighting, I think the words that come out of people's mouths are disgusting towards another human being. And then we call that entertainment. And it's like, that's behavior. That is behavior. This is why I always says it comes down to our behavior. You can say whatever you want in church. You can say all the rehearsed prayers you want. And I'm sorry for the people that are going to hate me on this, but you are not right with God just because you do some things on Sunday. I'm tired of it. I'm like really tired of that, because these people walk away thinking that they've done what they had to do, when really it's our behavior. God is interested in our behavior changing. That's why they say repent. Repent means to change your heart. It doesn't mean to go to church and say you're sorry to a priest and then you go back out and you're good again. You can talk about Sally. It doesn't mean that. Repent means you change your change your mind and you change your heart. If you're having a problem with someone in your family, make it right. Make it right. By all means, like, make it right. Don't leave things go. Be the best person you can be. That is your purpose. That is purpose right there. Be someone that people remember. And I'm not talking about singing on stage, because some of these people singing on stage are misleading millions of kids. I'm not going to say them. You already know them. Some of them rappers, some of them just regular singers, but they are misleading the younger generation to doing things that actually makes them more depressed. I'm not saying you can't listen to a sad song to be in your feelings. Understand the balance of what depressed is and being in your feelings. Missing someone, you listen to a song, reminds you of them. That's cool. Fine. You don't want to take your own life because someone has hurt you. And I want to say this too, like, for people in bad relationships and someone is hurting you mentally or physically, get out of that relationship at all. Like, whatever you have to do to get out of that relationship, don't feel that you have to stay there and destroy yourself as a human being. Don't stay in a position, even a friendship that you can walk away from. Anybody that's talking negative to you, down to you, it's at a workplace, anywhere, in a family, just, if you cannot resolve the issue with the people because they're almost so impossible, then you have to leave the situation. But don't let these things make you depressed, like you're the problem. A lot of narcissistic people will do that. They will flip it on you, like you're the problem. It's very simple. In some cases, and some, like I said, in some other instances, like, death. And I get it. Like, I lost a lot of people in the last couple of years. We lost our mother at a young age. I watched my grandpa have a heart attack right in front of me. There's tons of things that traumatize you, but how you act after you're done grieving, because it could take months, it could take a while, it could take a year. I'm not saying, but don't put it on yourself where you don't have fun times anymore. Like I said, life is a balance. Life is bad, life is good. We wouldn't know what a straight stick is if we didn't know what a crooked stick is. So God is giving us the opportunity to say, what do you want? Of course, no one wants all this. No one wants death. No one wants sickness. No one wants sadness. We just want the good times all the time. That's exactly what we want. That's why we look forward to the weekend and we look forward to hanging out and enjoying our friends. But unfortunately, everything comes to an end. And it's like, how are you going to act in the end of whatever situation it is? How are you going to act, and how are you going to behave? And a lot of us, I hate to say it, even at one point, I kind of blamed God. Like, we blame God for other people's behaviors or things that happen that make us depressed. And this is why I said don't set people up for failure. Don't tell people, oh, well, if you say this prayer, everything's going to be fine. What happens if it doesn't? Now you just set that person up for failure. So give them right information. Give them information that actually works here in life, and then they can either take it or leave it. The same thing with me. Like, whatever information you hear from me, you can take it or leave it. But I do care. I do care about people. And I know tons of people that are going through things, especially sickness. And it's like, you have to be there for people. Like, you really do have to be there for people. Like, if you're in a good position, definitely be there for people. Don't be selfish. Say a kind word. Say a good word. Say something that means something. Bring people out of depression is that's my whole goal. Like I said, you can feel sad, but being able to come out of depression is great. And there was a time, I'll tell this story real quick, where everything fell apart, which if you've been watching the videos, you kind of know somewhat. Everything fell apart for me, and I'm fine right now. Like, I'm not bad. We have hard moments, of course, but there was a time when I fell apart. Everything was gone. My friends, family, everything was gone. And I remember living with my sister, and I definitely was in a depressed state, I would say. I was very down. I was still funny, having fun, whatever, like talking. I would be able to talk to people and function, but I was still, after the day was done, I wanted to have a drink, or I just wanted to forget everything and be away from people for a little bit. So at the time, I was trying to do screen printing, and I was doing pretty good with it. It was me and my friend Joe and another friend, Dan. We were doing screen printing, and mentally I wasn't right yet. Like, I wasn't right to do anything. I needed to like fix things before I just started to jump in. But I think I was trying to cover things up, cover emotions up, and just try to stay busy, like most of us do, which is kind of good in a way. It does keep you focused instead of just doing drugs and alcohol, which is another topic, of course. But so I remember that I was doing screen printing, but I was also still running Killer Creations, and I was still painting like some small odd jobs. I wasn't doing anything major, but I wasn't making a lot of money, and I wasn't making so much with the screen printing yet, right? So hopefully you can follow me on this story because it's kind of complicated. But so I was screen printing and I was doing the airbrushing. So it was a really, really cold, freezing day in November a few years back. And I had no money at the time. I was living with my sister in a back room. And I had like a couple bucks on me that day, maybe like $15 or whatever, ones and fives, whatever. And then I had to finish something. I had to airbrush something, and then that money right there had to go towards my bills. I think it was like $300, whatever it was. And the screen printing, I had a job that was already paid for that I had to finish and deliver at the end of the day too. So it was already paid for. So I go to work. Remember, it's freezing out. It's crazy freezing. And I finished the screen printing job. It's getting late. You know, in November, it gets dark early. So it's like around 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's like dark outside. I finished the airbrush job. The person comes and picks that up. I get paid for that. I got my $300 I'm going to pay all my bills with. I needed exactly the amount too. Like I couldn't, I needed to pay these bills. So whatever it was. So now I take the screen print and stuff. I load my car. I take the shirts out of the screen print shop. I put it in my car. I got paid for the airbrush and stuff. So I'm about to go home, but I'm about to deliver the screen print and stuff to the customer where my apartment is, because he was going to meet me at my apartment. And so I go to the gas station first, and I have a little bit of money left. So I was going to put a little bit of money in the gas, for gas, whatever. So I had like $15. So now I go to the gas station. I pull up, I go inside, I put $10 in, and I had like $5 left over. So I go outside and I see this homeless person in the corner. I kind of seen the homeless person in before I went into the gas station. So that's why I kept the $5, because I was going to give him $5. And I don't usually tell these stories to make you think, oh gosh, Freddie's so giving. It's not that. It's just the story is so insanely. I don't know. It was so great to me. And a lot of people, I think, look at me when I tell this story, because I haven't told it to many. They think like I'm bull crapping or whatever, but I'm not. Like, this really happened this night. So anyway, so I come back out. I see the homeless person. He's on the corner. He's not really standing by the door where most people would to get money, like by the door of the entryway of the gas station. He's standing to the side. So I walk over to him. Oh, wait. I forgot totally how. Hold on, I gotta start over. Crap. Sometimes I get away from myself. So anyway, so I'm gonna start over Sorry. I'm really, really sorry. So that morning I wake up. It's freezing out. I'm at my sister's house in my back room. Remember that. I get down on my knees and I say a prayer to God. And I say, no one likes me, including you, to God. So that's where it all started. So I said, I got on my knees, and that was my prayer to God that day. It's like, no one likes me, no one cares, either do you. And that was it. And I went to work that day. So I was depressed. That's what I was trying to say. I was depressed, and I was also mad at everybody, including God, because I'm like, where is God in all this, right? So now I go to work, I do the screen printing order. I'm really sorry. I do the screen printing order and I do the airbrushing thing. I get paid for the airbrushing thing. Now I'm going to the gas station and on my way home to drop off the screen printing stuff. So at the gas station, I go in, I see the homeless person to the side of me. I walk up to him and I give him the $5, and it's freezing out. It's really cold out. All I can think about is I feel bad for this guy, but I also want to get back in my car and get home where it's warm. He takes the money and he looks at me, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "Do you believe in God?" And I was thinking, like, in my head, I was like, today I was so mad at God and like where I'm at in my life and why I was so depressed. And that was the first thing he said was, "Do you believe in God?" And at that moment, I could have said, "No, I don't." But I didn't. I chose not to because I knew God had something better for me, of course. And I said to the man, I said, yes. I said, I don't know how you got here or what happened, but I know for a fact things will change. And we started talking and stuff, and he started telling me how he ended up on the street. And like I said, it's freezing out. So your mind will tell you, get back in the car. It doesn't think rational when you're in a state of anxiety or something's going on. I always want to remind myself or people that, your brain doesn't always act rational. So your thoughts are different. It's like usually it's you just trying to get out of a situation. So I was like just trying to get back in the car. And as he's talking, I'm listening to him. There was a voice in my head that said, "Give him 40. And I was like, no. Because I knew I needed the money to pay the bills, right? So I'm battling with this conversation in my head, trying to listen to this homeless man. And usually when I see people, I'll give them a 20. That's like, I don't know, I guess that's my go-to number. I guess it's weird, but that's my number. The voice in my head kept saying, give him 40. Give him 40. So I was like, no. And I realized it is God. That is when God's talking to you. Your common sense in your head that tells you to do the right thing all the time is God. And I'm having this conversation. It says, give him 40, give him 40. And I said, no, I need it for the bills. Give him 40. So I finally broke down and I said, okay. So I slowly go into my pocket and I pull out $40, two 20s. And I said to him, I don't know. I said, man, it's freezing out. I said, I don't know where you can go right now. I said, but go somewhere nice and warm and get food and stay there for as long as you can. And I gave him the 40. And he gave me a hug. And that was it. And then I walked back to my car and he was walking away. And I just I felt so bad for him because I was like, I didn't know what to do for him because I was also broke and I didn't have nothing going on at the time. So it was like, what am I going to do? But anyway, I never saw that homeless guy again. This is why I do believe in angels and stuff like that. I never saw him again around there, ever. And so now I'm going home, going to my apartment to meet the other customer. And, I pull up. He's already there waiting for me. I get out. I grab the box of screen printed shirts or whatever, and I give it to him. And then he gives me $40 as a tip. He said, here, this is for yourself. $40. Exactly $40. I'm not lying. And he had no clue what was going on. I didn't tell him because I had to like kind of process it. And then I said to myself, okay, God, I know you care. You know, people think God's going to show up with this miracle that's just going to change everything for you. We got to stop thinking that. But we got to start looking at ourselves as human beings. We are the ones that are supposed to be imitating God's behavior. You want to know why we're not experiencing God? Because we act horrible. That's why. I would say it was like a couple weeks later after that it was so insane that I was listening to who I like a lot, Pastor Miles McPherson in Rock Church. I always say it. He's a great guy. He was talking about how the number 40 is the number of testing. And it's insane what happened with that homeless man that night. That I wasn't really thinking, but he kept saying 40. Give him 40. That I had to trust that voice in my head, that everything's going to be okay. I'm the voice for you to say, trust me, everything's going to be okay.